Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm here to give you your new moon in Scorpio tarot astrology reading. So I want to welcome you here if you're visiting for the first time, or welcome if you are a returning subscriber and you've been here from the beginning, or you joined somewhere along the way. Thank you to all of you for all the ways you support me, not only on this channel, but for those of you who also support me on my other channel, Solara Rises, and those of you also who have joined me over on SUBSTACK. I really do appreciate all the ways you allow me to flourish in my own gifts and to give back to the collective. So I'm going to get into the energies. So we have been in an interesting window. We are, as I record this, we are about 12 hours out from this new moon, which is occurring at 9:27 in the morning my time. 9/9 energy, anyone? If you are in that time zone, that is definitely the energy of self-liberation, and liberation is a big theme for this new moon. And of course, we are on this journey. We're constantly reaching new milestones where we are able to access higher levels of our truth and to bust out of the densities that have kept us bound to lies and energetic structures and traditions that were designed to program and condition us out of our truth, out of our power, and out of our value. And this new moon is no exception to that. It's a moon that is feeling very powerful in its ability to catapult us into higher states of energetic independence. So this is the first lunation that we've had since the eclipse, and as such I really do feel like this is a moon that is facilitating further movement of those energies. And I'm also feeling like this moon is setting us up. We're getting a bit of a taste in this energetic window of what is to come in Sagittarius season. And so I was joking, I think it was on my other channel on Solara Speaks, I was joking like I think a month ago, a little over a month ago, in the thick of, you know, the aftermath of the full moon in Aries energy, and when we had just entered into that eclipse window, I had asked my guides, like, how long are we going to be in this like pressure point? And they had said to me that relief was going to probably be a lot more tangible come Sagittarius season. They said, just get through Scorpio season. We were in Libra season at the time. So just get through Scorpio season. And it truly has been a Scorpio season to get through. Okay, and this new moon is feeling very much like it is bringing in some newer energy. But of course, the way energy works is it's always overlapping. So as the newness comes, it crumbles the old and the old is swept away. And sometimes you feel that more powerfully. And I feel like this new moon is a moon where we will feel the intensity of endings and beginnings. And I feel like we've been feeling that throughout this eclipse window. So let's get into it. This Scorpio season has been very interesting because the Scorpio energy is designed for us to really come into inner union. It's here for us to become alchemists. It's here for us to have what they call the alchemical marriage, and that is that the Scorpio energy is here for us to go into the lowest depths of our being and to have an appointment with our shadows, or, with our lower selves, and bring into acceptance and love any parts or aspects of those energies that we have been rejecting or have been rejected by others. And so we've either rejected them in ourselves, or we found ways to maneuver in situations where we don't allow those parts of us to be seen. But the Scorpio, and that would be, the reason why Scorpio is connected to the nature of the scorpion is because it is the sign that helps us to reconcile with our lower nature. But Scorpio energy also helps us to reconcile with our higher truth, which is why we have the eagle also as one of those emblems that helps us to get a higher perspective and to connect with those energies that Oftentimes, because of shame, we are reluctant to believe are possible for ourselves. You know, those grand ideas that sometimes we might brush by, energetically speaking, but never really grab a hold of because it seems too big or too grand for us. And that would be a lie. And Scorpio energy helps us to dispel the lies that keep us from accepting both aspects of both polar aspects of self. So the darkest parts that we've rejected, others have rejected, and then the most aspirational or godlike qualities that we've also rejected and others have rejected in us too. So Scorpio helps us to come to terms with that in such a way that the Phoenix energy is when we marry all parts of self and we're able to fully rise in our wholeness. And that's what the Scorpio transformative energy helps us to do. It helps us to put to death all of those personas and false identities that we've hidden behind, those masks we've hidden behind for acceptance from others and even to hide from ourselves. So this Scorpio season, it's been very, very intense, that unmasking, the shadow work, the shadow appointments have been very intensive because, of course, it's coming right out of the eclipse window. For one thing, the final eclipse of this season was at the beginning of Scorpio season at 5 degrees, which again is a degree of change. So this energy has been very, very intense as the Scorpio South Node energies begin to completely pull out of of dominating the energetic landscape for us collectively and personally. And so the Scorpio season has been a bit of a last hurrah, you could kind of say, that's really here to help us to reach very high levels of liberation for as long as we allow them to do, the energies to do their work in us that they're here to do. Okay, so let's get into the astrology. So tomorrow's new moon in Scorpio, it's happening on the 13th of November, and 13 is an auspicious number in and of itself. So 13 is, of course, the number of the divine feminine. So there's something here, there's some kind of reconciliation, restoration that's occurring. But 13 is also the number that in the tarot is connected to Scorpio energy. It is the death card. So I don't think anything happens coincidentally. I don't think there's any coincidence at all that the new moon in Scorpio is happening on the 13th day of November, nor that it's happening on a Monday, which is a day that is ruled by lunar energies. There is something that feels more powerful than what you would normally expect from a new moon. And it doesn't feel eclipse-like, and yet it feels as intensely powerful as an eclipse. And I don't really know how to put my finger on it other than that. There definitely is a very powerful death and rebirth gate that is really magnified at this point. So those death and rebirth gates through the Scorpio energy come open every season, every Scorpio season, or anytime a planet makes its way through the sign. But it's just feeling very, very expansive through this new moon in Scorpio. And it also feels as if there are energies that are connecting this new moon in Scorpio very powerfully with this 1111 portal that we're still passing through right now. So in terms of degrees, the sun and the moon will be at 20 degrees Scorpio tomorrow when the moon reaches her new state. And 20 degrees in and of itself is an energy that speaks of a doorway from the second decan into the third decan. Or if you're looking at it from the standpoint of the minor arcana representation of this energy, it is a window that's opening from the Six of Cups into the Seven of Cups. So there's this very real teetering between two energies, teetering between two worlds and two realities. And this new moon is what's pulling us through. I'm kind of seeing the thread of a needle being pulled through. So, or rather, rather a thread being pulled through a needle. So it feels like the needle has just, been threaded, when you just get it through the eye of the needle, and now you have to like faff about and make sure it doesn't fall out the other end and you pull it all the way. That's kind of the energy I am picking up on here. Now, this energy of, doorways, going from one reality to another, it's very pronounced right now. It's very pronounced, and I do feel like part of that is because a lot of energetic activations and alignments are coming through in order to help us have full access to the gateway system that is our light bodies. So our light bodies are comprised of a series of gates and doors, and it's not just our light bodies, it's how the cosmos is actually run on an energetic standpoint from what it is that my guides have shown me. And it's even why when we say, when you're doing something spiritually, we'll describe it as opening the door to something, or closing the door and making sure that you do all of that. It's because we are literally, energetically speaking, we are a gateway system. And that was, those declassified documents that came out in 2020 alluded to that fact too. Maybe if it didn't even didn't break it down perfectly in how it actually works. This is what the information that they were after, was how they've been trying for a while to learn how to fully deactivate our gates, and they've had a lot of attempts. And a few successes, or what they thought would be successes, but nothing that was able to endure. Let's put it that way. And we have reached a point on Ascension where the planetary energies in response to our ascending and healing are in a place that supports our ability to begin to reconnect to our light bodies and realign our gateway systems with the energies in the cosmos that are here to support our multidimensional and infinite truth here on the earth planes. So a lot of the ways that we were not able to connect to these energies cosmically was through the shutting down of our gates, and through also the manning of our gates with certain entities, and also keeping us in lower frequencies, because to open and access certain gates within ourselves that align us to gates within the cosmic fabric that allow us to travel interdimensionally, we have to be at a certain frequency. So this whole thing is a frequency game, which is how and why Ascension can't be cheated. And the activations that come through can only be activated in those who have reached a certain frequency. And that doesn't mean that it can't happen for people later on, but the activations as they come through will activate us all in accordance with where we are on a frequential level. And therefore what will unlock in all of us is all going to be down to how much work we've done and what frequency we've reached and managed to sustain. I hope that makes sense. So there are some people who are living in the 5D. There are some people who are very much stuck in the 4D right now. There are some who might still be in the 3D, and there are many more in the 5D. Then not many more than those in the 3 and 4D, but there are many more than we are aware of that are living in the 5D, and there are some who are living in the 6, 7, 8, and 9th dimension. And that's because it's a frequency thing. It's not a place. It's a frequency thing in how they are experiencing the earth plane at this time, which is why when I tell you that we are literally living between worlds, we are. There will come a time when we come into a place of stability, energetically speaking, and even dimensionally, but right now it's like there's a whole bunch of open lines, and there's a reason for that. So I say that because this 20-degree mark is the 6 of Cups, leaving the 6 of Cups and entering the 7 of Cups. So it's been a very interesting past couple of days, week to 10 days while the sun has been moving through the second decan of Scorpio, we have been learning how to emotionally detach from old karmic stories. But this was a very deep emotional purge. It wasn't even, while we may have experienced it on both mental and emotional levels in our conscious reality, what these energies have been doing and being helped and pushed and bolstered by the eclipse are to actually clear our emotional fields of the remembrance of those karmic energies that were able to command us and to dominate us in the previous age. And, you know, for some of us, like for some, all the way up to the last golden age. So it's a great deal of processing and letting go of deep emotional programming that spans across many lifetimes that had us all repeating these cycles with the same consciousness, different incarnated beings, or just the same energy. Cycling through it over and over again. So in other words, the emotional bonds and the inception points of that have been going through a grand clearance. And as we step into this new moon in Scorpio, it feels like we're exiting that picture into the Seven of Cups energy, which in its evolved state, or in its upright energy, it actually symbolizes the world opening up, the world becoming one's oyster, a whole bunch of options that appeal with our heart's truth beginning to open up for us. Now, the reason the Seven of Cups energy also is aligned with confusion is because if we are not in a state of groundedness and living from a place of power and truth, all of those options can be too much for us energetically speaking. So as such, you might find that this new moon in Scorpio is causing you to feel a little bit energetically, I don't want to say woo-woo, it's more like unstable, like feeling like you're being pulled to and fro, like you almost like a boat swaying on the waters that can't be anchored. That kind of might be what you're feeling, but know that this is the establishing of the energy that is needed in order for you to move forward. Now, Scorpio energy is also very much connected to the distribution of power. It's how we are able to share our energy with the world and to be compensated for it. And I don't like that word compensated because it makes everything sound very transactional, but everything is an energetic exchange. And when you're giving from a place of fullness, you can expand in energy, and in expanding it, have it be returned to you expansively. And that's really how energy should flow. And so the Scorpio energy is how we take our individual resources, our divine resources as represented by the Taurus energy, and we take it into the world and we share it collectively, and we have it and we distribute it collectively, and we have it returned to us greater. Okay, so for that reason, Scorpio is also over like banking, for example, and so this new moon in Scorpio, just like that full moon in Taurus that occurred at 5 degrees Taurus, the moon, and 5 degrees Scorpio, the sun, was all about the collapse of these abusive systems and institutions that have been controlling our narrative and limiting our power. This new moon in Scorpio is bringing in it feels like it's the dawning of a new legacy, and a new legacy in power is really what it's feeling like. And to that extent, I've been channeling, excuse me, I've been channeling, excuse me, my fucking voice. To that extent, I've been channeling that there have been a lot of angel activations, angelic DNA activations, I should say, that have been coming through the Scorpio season window. And I mean, that's not surprising considering that that is the energy that we begin to take forward through the Sagittarius energy. But I do feel like a lot of upgrades are coming and activations that will now allow many divine beings to walk on the earth planes and be on the earth who they are cosmologically. In other words, a lot of these activations are going to be helping those who are divinely aligned, sorry about that, those who are divinely aligned to begin to walk in a reflection of who they are in the cosmos. And I've talked about this, you know, a lot. I haven't talked about it recently, but as we rise and we reclaim our power, come on, and our ability to live on the earth planes as we are in the heavens or in the cosmos, all that's happening is that the cosmological truth of who we are as beings is being made real materially. Now, what that means also, because this is the way energy works, is that who these beings are who have been cloaking themselves in other beings' energy and codes, who they are cosmologically, is being made real on the earth planes too. And these angelic DNA and activations are definitely assisting that, as well as the erasure of these emotional karmic energies. The inception points of these energies are being cleared. And as they're being cleared, the masks are dropping, and people, companies, groups, whoever it is, are being exposed for who they actually are. And we're going to continue seeing a lot of this, and I feel like we're going to rapidly be moving more into almost like this karmic restitution energy that Sagittarius is going to be bringing into, is going to be bringing the foundation for that through Sagittarius season. So I'm feeling a lot, I've been picking up a lot of energy, especially in the past week through the Six of Cups, of like karmic restitution coming right now. And it's coming on a grand scale. There is nowhere for some of these beings to hide anymore, especially those ones who, instead of turning away from the behaviors that, had them indulging in what's the word? Had them indulging in like making money and getting acclaim and power off of other people's pain, especially those beings that refuse to stop. They may have refused to stop, and they may have thought that nothing was going to occur, but it feels like we're entering into a time through this Sagittarius window where things are going to be speeding up, because we are at the end of 2023. And by 2025, when the nodes move into Pisces and Virgo, we will be living in a different world. And the thing about it is that materially, the material reality is always the last thing to change. So spiritually, what we're about to experience materially has already been done. They've already fallen from any place of stature they may have had in terms of ranking spiritually, or any of the illusions and energy tampering they were doing by spiritual means can no longer hold, right? And mentally and emotionally, things have definitely shifted because people are waking up. And so it's only a matter of time now before all of this is laid out to be seen and dealt with on material levels. And we've already had a bit of a taste of it, but I do feel like it's nothing compared to what's about to come. I feel like we will be entering another window of mass awakening. And that is because the truth of what it is that we have been living through, it can no longer be hidden. And it doesn't matter how much cognitive dissonance some people find themselves into. There are some things that are going to be occurring that not even they can deny. And a lot of that is being facilitated through this new moon Scorpio window that's coming to tear down a lot of these fake institutions that have been stealing our divine power to feed their selfish, narcissistic, abusive agendas, and how they've done everything to disempower others to appear powerful. And that goes on a personal level, on a group level, on a national level, and on a global level. We are stepping into a time where we're going to see many governments dissolve in the way we've known them. We're stepping into a time where banking is never going to be the same. All of these systems that have been in cahoots controlling our power and taking from us, taking our resources from us and keeping us out of knowing who we are divinely and interdimensionally, in order that they could steal our resources and our galactic technologies to, create a poorer representation here on the earth in the form of devices. All of that is coming to a close. And this new moon in Scorpio, it feels like it's setting the foundation for that. Now, not for nothing, the 20 degrees astrologically speaking, it is a degree of Scorpio. So we got a lot of Scorpio energy. And Scorpio in the tarot is, of course, death, the Tower, and its judgment. So we have Scorpio energy because the sun and the moon are in Scorpio. We got an astrological Scorpio degree because 20 is a degree of Scorpio. But then we also have a tarot energy of Scorpio connecting to the number 20, because the number 20 card in the major arcana is judgment. So very powerful Plutonian energy coming through the tarot aspect of this. And of course, judgment is the card where where everything is destroyed for new things to be built. So it can be speaking of the wholeness of that energy or certain aspects of it. And right now we're looking at the wholeness. There's a lot of destruction that's occurring, necessary destruction of the dysfunctional patterns, relationships, companies, structures, systems that have held us in cycles of dysfunction and karma. And then there's also the rebirth and the elevation of our divinity, and those of us who are here to actually divinely walk in correct alignment with humanity and with higher causes that actually benefit all. So Aquarius energy it's connected to humanitarianism, it's connected to service, and this is what we need to reconnect to as a collective in order to bring the earth back into a place of harmony. And the Aquarian energy is how we're doing that. And so as these old dynasties die, or I should say as these fake dynasties die, there are new ones being born. But the reason why I said I changed the word from old is because the new dynasties that are being born are the original ones. They are the ancient ones. They are the ones that are connected to the primordial energies that once upon a time were true guardians of this earth plane and kept things in harmony. And those primordial beings and their energy are being reborn again through us, because many of us have incarnated into this lifetime specifically for that purpose, to bring that back. Okay, so there's a rising of the new structures of power that are here to harmonize the earth, and there is a rapid dissension and destruction of those who have been hell-bent on keeping us in disharmony and states of discord in order to benefit off of the thieving of our resources, both through our biofields or through our energy fields, as well as the resources of this earth. So there's a very strong judgment gate that is opening through this new moon in Scorpio, and this is an important thing to consider, because even with those angelic activations that have been coming through, they are very much to do with this judgment energy. I have been feeling very powerfully, especially in the past 48 hours, there are angels of judgment that have come alive. And that doesn't mean they weren't always alive in human form. It means that that DNA strand had not been activated yet. But through these energies of Scorpio, through the portals, through that crazy solar flare activity that we had last weekend also, there have been angelic activations, angelic DNA activations that have been coming alive in beings because we've reached the point of ascension, and they've reached a point in their personal ascension where those energies can now come online. And in the activation of those energies, it is activating the grids of the earth, and everything is being shifted to usher in energies of judgment that couldn't properly be actualized until these energies were embodied, if that makes sense. So it's a very, very powerful window of judgment, and through this window, be prepared to see a lot revealed, and a lot of people fall from grace, and a lot of sudden rising into power on every level, personally, nationally, globally, collectively. This is what this energy is opening. Excuse me. And so Spirit is speaking to us about this with Mercury in Sagittarius at 4 degrees. So Mercury in Sagittarius at 4 degrees. So it's Spirit has gone ahead. So Mercury is the energy, the planet that's, they are our directions from Spirit on how to move forward. And so we are already being shown what's coming ahead. And the Sagittarius energy is that expansive energy that allows us to begin to walk and live in our truth. The Sagittarius energy is also what connects us to our ability to travel interdimensionally. So Mercury has gone ahead to kind of prepare especially our mental consciousness to receive some of the amazing things that are going to be coming forth. And when I say amazing, they're not only amazing because for many of you it's going to be a time of rewards, but it's amazing because a lot of the things we've been told haven't been possible. We're about to realize that that was a lie. And this Mercury in Sagittarius is preparing all of us for our minds to be blown. That's really what I'm getting with this energy. And the Sagittarius energy is when you break it down into gematria, it is the only sign of the zodiac that breaks down to the 144 frequency, which shows me that the Sagittarian energy, as it works for us on a collective level, is one of the ways that we connect with our higher light code activations, including, the angelic DNA activations that are coming through, is how we begin to take them and bring them onto the earth and embody and walk in ways that reconnect us with our interdimensional truth, which then opens a door for us once again to begin to travel interdimensionally. Now, I just had a client and I was talking to him about this, about how, that Sagittarius energy, it's there to really push us forward at grand speeds and to take us a lot farther than we could have gone, without it. But the reason Sagittarius energy sets us forward so quickly is because of the resistance that it also must pull us through. And so the Sagittarius energy is the archer archetype. It is that bow and arrow. So in order for us to be launched forward very far and very rapidly, we must first be pulled back and create the resistance and tightness that is necessary for that takeoff. And it feels like this window that we've been living through, especially since the equinox and the full moon in Aries, has been that Sagittarius energy preparing us for launch. But it's been that part of being pulled back in the bow, the arrow being pulled back. So come Sagittarius season, it feels like there's going to be more of us, like energy is just going to open up more, but it's more than that. It's like we're going to be able to see our direction a little bit clearer, or be able to shoot directly where it is we need to go as opposed to wavering. There's something about like hitting the mark through this Sagittarius energy. And so Mercury is already speaking to us, preparing us for that, right? So the 4-degree mark is a degree of Cancer, astrologically speaking. So this again, we've got the 13 of the day, and then we've got the 4, which is connected to Divine Mother. Cancer energy is the Divine Mother being born. So there's something about the calibration of our emotional fields preparing us for this too. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm getting. The 4 is also the Emperor. So this is about the laying of foundations also. Yes. So we got Venus in Libra. Venus is still chilling in Libra at 5 degrees. Venus in Libra at 5 degrees. So Venus is still grounding into our reality, the calibration of our mental and emotional fields, in preparation for the changes that are coming forth through this number 5, the 5-degree mark. So Venus is bringing the equilibrium necessary. Venus is also stabilizing our fields because of the instability that the Scorpio season, the Scorpio energy is feeling like. Remember I said in the beginning, it's like being out rocking on a boat, and I've been getting a lot of boat analogies recently, rocking the boat energies, but like being a little bit lost. And then we have that Sagittarius energy I just spoke about, hitting the mark. There's a lot of wavering energy right now that can make us feel a little bit confused and ungrounded. It's almost like Venus is holding the fort in some way, holding the fort so that we are in the midst of feeling a little bit, you know, discombobulated. It's not discombobulated though, because it's really very emotional, because there's a lot of emotional calibrations coming through this Scorpio energy. It's like Venus is holding the fort for us to be balanced enough to properly receive, even in the midst of feeling a little bit like we've been thrown out to sea. Venus is it's almost like Venus is, I'm getting like it's like making sure that the ground remains fertile. She's holding something in place to make sure that the ground remains fertile as we bring forth these activations for ourselves and for Gaia. So Venus, of course, is the Empress, and then the Libra energy is the Justice, as well as the Empress. And the 5 degrees of Libra is 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords. So it's almost like, and maybe this is why I was connecting more with the like emotional wavering energy. It's like while we are even in this emotional energy and we're feeling so much, a part of it also is that we're not being able to yet make sense of it all, which is kind of that 2 of Swords energy. We're feeling a lot, but we're not seeing, or we're not fully connecting on a conscious level with a lot of what's happening right now. And Venus is here to help our foundations to stay stable in the midst of this rocky passage. That's what it feels like. Now, Mars is speaking to us through a degree of mastery. Mars is speaking to us through the 22-degree mark. And 22 is a number that is is connected to contracts. It's connected to contracts, especially, well, the 22 as a number, some would say it's connected to contracts with others. But astrologically speaking, it's connected to contracts because 22 is a astrological degree of Capricorn. I feel a lot of resistance against not only my throat, but it's like my higher heart, and you can go fuck yourselves and get out of my energy. Anyway, Mars in Scorpio at 22 degrees is the Tower. Mars is Tower, and then we've got the triple energy of the Death, the Tower, and the Judgment. And 22 degrees is the Seven of Cups energy. So Mars is going, well, slightly ahead of the Sun and the Moon, but Mars is powering through a lot of the block. It's funny that I just said it as we talk about Mars. Is powering through a lot of the blockages that would keep us from accessing certain activations based upon old emotional programming. So remember I said that when we receive certain activations, we have to be in a certain frequency. Mars is helping us to tear down those emotional blocks that would keep us from climbing in the frequency we need in order to get back access to certain so that we are able to be activated through these energies. This also, though, has to do with some of the contracts that are being opened because of these activations and because of the breaking down of the inception point of these karmic energies and the clearing out of them, of our emotional fields, the complete clearance of them out of our emotional fields now. For many of you, you may have closed karmic chapters ages ago. You may have removed yourself from beings, etc., but it doesn't mean those energies were not still at play in your life. And it doesn't mean that they were completely cleared out of your energy fields. And this is what I'm talking about with this this energy window. Just really feels like it was about the clearance of the inception point of the karmic energies that became the stories and the cycles and the attachments to certain beings that we kept on meeting in different flesh suits across time. And so there's something about this Mars energy like fighting to make sure that's done, and in doing so opening up the door to new opportunities, Seven of Cups, but also opening up the door to new contracts. And it feels like a lot of you will be walking into new realities with people who you don't have such a heavy karmic history with. Because the way I see it, and this is personal opinion, whoever comes into our lives, we often have some kind of karmic history with, or we have past life history with them. And where you have past life history, there's always going to be a level of karma because we're all human beings, right? We've been living in a fallen state. But there are some beings who, because it was the end of the age, we've had these heavy karmic energies repeating through people because we had to clear them out of our fields. And it feels like the next set of beings that are coming our way, coming your way, is going to be easy to collapse any karmic stories, because as we're doing that within self, they're doing it within self. Anything that we need to resolve is going to either already have been done through these windows, or it's going to be very easy for us to work through together. I really do feel like brand new, I want to say dharmic stories in terms of relationships and contracts. The foundation for that is being set. And Mars is assisting in this. Now, I don't want to go too much farther, but Jupiter is at the 9-degree Taurus energy. So this is all about, again, this is further liberation, and further liberation of self-liberation. This is very personal. This is the liberation also of our personal resources for our soul use. I feel like Jupiter is helping with that at this particular degree, and that's the energy that Jupiter is assisting with through this new moon window. We still see Saturn has been moving forward for the past couple of days, and that is also, she's at 0 degrees. I still get tempted to say he, because I know that traditionally people say Saturn is a man, but I've shared with you my viewpoint before. When I've seen Saturn, I've seen two of the planets have shown up to me like personified. And when Saturn showed up to me personified, she was an older grandma woman, like crone figure, so wise and gorgeous. And that was the Saturnian energy that I got to meet, personified in my channeling of the energy. But I also realized that other people view Saturn as being father and masculine energy, but I view Saturn as being like grandma energy, grandma wisdom. Okay, so the Saturn at the 0 degrees is also, and moving forward now, is also what is helping to bring these karmic stories now to a real close on all levels. So energy works like it's first in the spirit, and then it comes through the mental planes, the emotional planes, and once it comes through the emotional planes, the last plane it hits is material. And the material plane is simply a reflection of all the other planes in sublimation. So once an energy hits the emotional planes, it's getting ready to be materialized. And I feel like that's why there's so much calibration of the waters right now. Like this has been a big energy this year in general that I've been picking up on, this preparation of the waters, this taking back of our waters. And there's something very significant that's happening through Scorpio season in order to materialize some of these karmic endings, and also the karmic restitution that must come in order to wrap up these energies that are not only personal, but they are collective stories that can't go forward. So Saturn is, the bringing forth now of more. You see, it's very funny because Saturn, as it was in its retrograde period, it really was giving another chance for people to come to terms with some of the things they've done and to change. And what I noticed as Saturn began to go direct in the past couple of days, there's been a lot of people who have evidently not learned their lessons, and the karma for them is coming almost instantly, or they're being directly sent into people's fields who are here to enact karmic justice in one way, shape, or form. So I really do believe that as Saturn continues to gain momentum and we move into Sagittarius season, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that justice materialize and become real. We're getting it in drips, but I do think it's going to be coming forth into the material reality. And from Sagittarius season over the next 2 years, or over the next 14-month period, or 2 years, through to 2025, there's going to be a lot of material revelation. We've been picking up a lot of it mentally, in the mental and the emotional planes, tuning into it spiritually. At some point, it had to materialize. And I feel like through this window, that's what's about to start happening for many. Now, Neptune and Mars are I would call it a loose conjunction because they're about 3 degrees apart. Mars is at 22 degrees and Neptune is at, what am I talking about? No, I'm sorry. What am I talking about Mars and Neptune? I'm talking about Mars and the Sun and the Moon. Mars and the Moon are conjuncting. The Sun and Mars are conjuncting. The Sun and the Moon obviously are conjuncting, you could say. So there is this conversation that's happening between the three of them right now also. So I see exposure. I see shadows no longer being able to hide, and I see those that are trying to hide, find places to hide, Mars blowing them out of all possibilities of that. That's what I'm seeing through the Sun, Moon, Mars energy that's in conversation through this window. Yeah. So the nodes, not for nothing, I'm not going to go deep into this energy, I'm going to wrap it up now, but the nodes are at 23 degrees. 23 degrees Aries for the North Node and 23 degrees Libra for the South Node. 23 is a degree of Aquarius. So there's something that's occurring through the nodal axis that's speaking about the taking back of power and authority, so that the agendas for the new age can begin to move forward. Yes. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it now. I'm a little bit tired. But I'm sending you guys so much. Oh, 9:19 as I end. I'm sending you guys so much new moon magic. It's a great time right now to do banishing work, to do deep shadow work, clearing out those things that have tried to disempower you and take you out of your place of not only personal power, but what it is you've come here to do collectively. It's a good time to do work, to clear that out of self, and also to be made aware of where that's lurking in external situations that need your attention also. So anyway, I wish you guys a beautiful new moon. For those of you who are interested in working with me one-to-one, you can do so by checking out my website and then emailing me. My website is solara.info. The information is in the description box below. If you're interested in joining me over in SUBSTACK, at SUBSTACK, you can do that. The website information and the link is also in the description box below. It's also in the community section. I have many Substack articles that I have linked in the community section for you guys to be able to access. And so you can also link to my Substack through any of those. Some of them will no longer be open. They were open when I linked them on the community board, meaning that you will not have access to articles that are older than a week, but you still will be able to get to the Substack if you want to go over there and join me, and you don't have to pay. There are also free options. So either way, if it's something that interests you and you'd like to support me, you can go and check me out over there. If you would like to support my work and what it is I do through these channels and Substack, and ultimately what I've been sent here to do for the collective, you can do so through donating at my PayPal, which is going to be in the description box below. You can also just simply do that by, liking, sharing, commenting, utilizing the power of the messages I give you to become more powerful in yourself and therefore affecting change in our world also. Yeah. So it's 2121. It's the world energies, Saturnian energies. I'm gonna close out on that note. I will see you guys again soon. Until next time, be well.